Hello, welcome friends, to a place I humbly refer to as the Escape, a world filled with mystery and intrigue, horror and humor, ever so dark, I must admit, but human nonetheless. But tonight's tale revolves around something all of us can relate to: dreams. Oh, we all dream. We all fantasize. It's what makes us human. The desire to become extraordinary, to climb above the rest, to be acknowledged as something great, not be small, insignificant, to know that our lives bore some type of meaning and that our legacy continue through our children. There's nothing more true than for a man to behold his son and hope that one day he can hold his head high and his life can be far more grand than that of his father. Because we all know that we fall short of the dream. However mysterious it might be, however out of reach it might seem, we all reach for it, whether it involves money or power or even sex. It's something that we long for in the deep, dark recesses of our minds. I, like you, dream. And so too does the man in our first story. Man with a simple name, Larry. See, Larry was no more extraordinary than any other person on the planet. He was, in fact, quite ordinary. He was so ordinary that he would pass you on the street, you would even know who he was. You wouldn't even care. He was nothing, no one. He had a small family on a ranch. Yeah, what used to be a ranch. Now it was just a dilapidated old building where he and his family were sheltered together. Day by day, by day, by day, poor Larry eked his way through life, as many of us do. Nothing ever changed for him, and his soul over the years had begun to wither where a flower might without proper nourishment. He began to wonder why he existed, what was his life, why had it become such a mundane, day by day, endless cycle of nothingness, so cramped like a muscle that just was too tight. He longed to free himself from the skin that just, it chafed his spirit. He wanted to free himself from it. He wanted to run as far and as fast away as he could, getting away from everything and anyone that reminded him of how pitiable and pathetic his life was. From his nagging wife to his unruly children and to the dog that constantly chewed at his shoe. He pondered away out. He thought of it. He reached out to his friends, to his ministers, to his family. But as people often do, they offered him the insincere smile, the disingenuous pat on the back, and told him that everything was going to be all right. Little did they know, perhaps more to the point, they didn't care, that not everything was going to be all right with Larry. See, Larry had a speech impediment which prohibited him from communicating the deep thoughts of his heart. Try as they might, people would carefully listen and try to piece together what he was saying, but he could never quite communicate the pain that he felt. So no one really knew the malady of his mind. They never took the time to understand that he was a man just like everyone else, and there was something within him that was just missing. He had dreams as a small child, dreams of being rich, famous, marrying the love of his life. None of these dreams came true. Poor Larry worked day after day in a dead-end job, and one morning he woke up after a particularly hard evening at work. His wife began to nag him about their financial situation, and his children were running amok through the house. Suddenly it occurred to him that perhaps there was a way out. So Larry went to the window after rising early the next morning. He saw that the sun was out. It was a beautiful day for suicide. He kissed his wife goodbye, and he waved to his children, and he went on his way toward the old sycamore tree out back of his house that he had grew up in. The house was no longer there. It had been torn down after practically falling in on itself. But he found his way to this old sycamore tree, and he looked up to it in its impossible heights. As a child, he imagined climbing to the very top. And he fathomed that perhaps he could see the world from that giant. He never climbed it, as he never did most things in his life. You see, Larry had a problem with sight, but it wasn't the kind of sight that you and I are familiar with, not with his eyes. He was unable to see the lessons in his life. Each part of his life was trying to teach him something that he could carry on to the next phase of his life. He had no mettle, he had no fortitude. There was no courage in him. There was only a deep, longing desire to escape. So, after having drank from his bottle, Larry took the rope that he had carried with him and climbed the tree. Made his way out onto one of the sturdier branches and tied the rope to the branch tightly and about his neck. He remembered a book that had showed him how to tie a proper noose so that when he fell it would break his neck and his end would be instantaneous. So, in his drunken stupor, he had decided that this was the proper thing to do, and he flung himself from the branch, only to fall straight to the ground. Talk about adding insult to injury. Our friend Larry lay upon the ground with those tiny voices scurrying about in his head like spiders, telling him all the things that he'd heard his entire life. "You aren't good enough," one said. "Look at you lying about. You can't even kill yourself properly. You're just like your father. Miserable, slothful, lazy. Hang about." These things ate at him, and his skin tickled with that guilt, condemnation, the rage of a life lived half empty. So he mustered all the courage that he could, and he made his way back up the tree. He was at the same branch that he'd started, and he redid his work, painfully He put the noose back around his neck. His two children came along. These two children were not good children. They were not nice children. There is the old saying that there is no such thing as a bad child, but these children were not. These children did not fall under that category. They were terrible little miscreants. They hurled things at him. They threw sticks, and they threw stones, and they taunted him. And the children say, "I bet you won't do it for a second." The second said, "Oh, I bet he'll jump." First said, "Well, I don't think he will. I don't think he has the balls to do it." The second child said, "Well, I believe that he does, and I'll bet you $5 he will." So they began to shout at Larry. By this time, poor Larry's feeling the pressure. "Jump, jump." And the voices, "Don't jump, don't jump. You're a coward. You'll never do it." And with that, Larry jumped. This time the noose was perfectly in order. And as he hung there, dangling between the here and the hereafter, the life fleeing from him breath by breath as he was strangled, he looked down at the ground and he saw what he thought to be two spirits. Whether or not they were there, he could not be sure, but he watched them as the life drained from him, and he could swear that they were sitting at a table playing chess. One of the tiny little figures bore a strikingly familiar face, one that he himself bore. And when he looked further, the other one began to laugh. He patted the first on the shoulder and said, "See, I told you. He would jump."